Local businesses are aiding the relief efforts after this weekend's tornado. We will have a live report.
Plus, what are on eminent domain.
And find out how it feels to live in a 400 square feet house.
From the Mayborn School of Journalism at the University of North Texas, this is NT Daily News.
$2 billion worth of damage. That's what the Texas Insurance Council estimates after the Dallas tornadoes earlier this week. Thanks for joining us. I am Azmar Khan.
And I'm Jaylene Ramirez. NT Daily's Abram Gallegos is in North Dallas to show us one of the areas affected by the storms.
Recovery process continues for Dallas residents affected by the tornadoes this past weekend. Schools have been shut down. There's debris everywhere as crews work to clear it. I mean, right here at the Preston Royal shop, we just have one of the famous signs just devastated. Families can't even recognize their neighborhood. At the Preston Royal Shopping Center, nearby homes, businesses can't be accessed as crews work to clear debris. The damage also caused local grocery stores to shut down. However, Central Market and HEB have sent a mobile kitchen to feed and provide supplies for neighbors affected by the storm.
Not only are we providing a warm meal and just a shoulder to cry on sometimes, but really it's just a connection to humanity, to just sit and talk and let everything kind of sink in, because it's going to be a while before everybody recovers here.
The kitchen is also serving local crews and first responders working to get the area up and running again. The mobile kitchen will provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner until Saturday. Meals will be free and up to 2,400 will be provided each day. Starting on Sunday, snacks will be offered. For those still needing assistance cleaning up home debris, you can contact the group Volunteer Texas. For NT Daily TV, I'm Abram Gallegos.
The University of North Texas is taking the next step in order to get eminent domain, or 4 more Avenue C properties. NT Daily's Sierra Galvez is here to tell us how things got to this point.
UNT first contacted the businesses on Avenue C early this year after the Board of Regents approved a plan to acquire the land. UNT is officially starting the process of eminent domain after all 4 properties turned down the buyout offer. The businesses involved are Eagle Car Wash, Campus Bookstore, New York Subhub, Naranja Cafe, and Oriental Express. In the past, NT Daily TV has talked to the owner of Campus Bookstore who expressed frustration that the university could force his business to move. Although many are very against these businesses being torn down, some feel like it is an exciting time for UNT to continue growing. I got a chance to talk to former UNT student and football player Rod Johnson about what he thinks this means for the school.
I have mixed emotions about that because they have so much sentimental value to me. Just seeing them brings me joy. So, but I also like to see that the university is growing and expanding. So I have very mixed emotions about this. I really need to sit down and think about it. I didn't know this was happening.
New York Subhub's owner has not been quiet about the matter and has moved to protesting to try and make his voice heard. UNT has started working with an assistant attorney general who specializes in condemnation hearings when public entities take over private-owned land. Sierra Galvez, NT Daily News.
Denton police want to warn you, people are being robbed shortly after visiting bank ATMs. It's called jugging, when criminals follow bank customers to their next destination and steal their money. The Denton Police Department recently put out a warning on Twitter. In less than 4 months, DPD has received 8 reports of jugging and over $20,000 has been taken from victims. With the holidays approaching, everyone is encouraged to remain vigilant of their surroundings and to not leave any valuables, especially cash, unattended in their vehicles.
Police arrested a Flower Mound High School teacher on Monday. The Spanish teacher, James Moore, faces a charge on indecency to child. The 58-year-old is accused in connection to an incident that took place 4 years ago. According to police, the victim told his sister about the incident and she suggested they get a confession on Facebook. Moore did confess and apologize. He has been an employee with the Louisville Independent School District since May 2008. The district placed him on administrative leave after the arrest. Police say they are concerned about the possibility of more victims since, as a teacher, Moore had access to minors.
Saturday is National Drug Take Back Day, which aims to properly dispose of prescription drugs in a safe way while educating the public on drug abuse. You can drop off old prescriptions drugs in designated locations from 10 until 2 on Saturday. Drop-off sites include police departments in Argyll Highland Village and the Denton County Water District Police Department. The Drug Take Back is sponsored by the Drug Enforcement Administration.
Early voting in Denton has started. Residents can vote on 4 bond proposals totaling about $200 million. If approved, those bonds will go towards repairing the police department, acquiring land for parks, public art, and street repairs. The largest bond issue on the ballot, $154 million, would go to improve streets. One possible project includes repairs to University Drive, including more street lights. In addition to the bond proposals in Denton, voters across the state will weigh in on 10 proposed amendments to the Texas Constitution. Early voting began October 21st and runs through November 1st. Election day is November 5th. For more information, go to votetexas.gov.
The small town of Lake Dallas in Denton County has a new tiny home village. I talked to a few people at this tiny community who have decided to move into this small neighborhood to start a new life. Imagine living in a home that is barely 10 steps long. That is exactly the kind of project in place called the Tiny Home Village in the small town of Lake Dallas. This small neighborhood has homes no bigger than 400 square feet, with house prices increasing by 24% in the Dallas-Fort Worth area since December 2013, an increase of over $55,000. Terry Landtrip's affordable project is finally coming together with 5 homes already in place in a space for 13. Landtrip says the residents have to bring their own homes, which have to be on wheels. These spaces are rented for $500 a month, including utilities. Landtrip wants to give this place a sense of home, something that is different than an RV park. And that's the reason this community has its own washateria and a place where the residents can hang out and relax. Maurice Bush and his wife were one of the first residents to move in the tiny home village. The couple also has a YouTube channel, Living Tiny with the Bushes, where they make videos about their lives living in a 200 square feet home.
We absolutely love it more than any other place we've ever parked the house. The sense of community is absolutely amazing.
Lake Dallas Mayor Michael Barnhart is one of the members on City Council and says the city is 100% in support of this project. Though he doesn't see himself downsizing to this community, he knows someone who does.
Believe it or not, having conversations with our chief of police, he said if he could convince his wife, he would do it in a heartbeat.
Out of 13 spaces, 11 have already been leased, with 2 to go at this small community in Lake Dallas. Up next, find out how a U.S. diplomat ties Trump to Ukraine quid pro quo.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be tornado next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses.
You heard how loud I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
U.S. diplomat Bill Taylor is back at work in Ukraine just one day after his explosive testimony on Capitol Hill. Some House officials say Tuesday's closed-door hearing gave a big blow to President Trump's defense in the impeachment inquiry. CNN's Suzanne Malvix reports.
Bill Taylor sending shockwaves through Capitol Hill, telling Congress multiple administration officials informed him that President Trump personally blocked military aid unless Ukraine agreed to announce investigations into the Bidens and the 2016 U.S. election. Sources say those inside audibly gasped and sighed just from the top U.S. diplomat to Ukraine's opening statement.
In my 10 short months in Congress, this is my most disturbing day in Congress so far.
Taylor providing a clearer timeline of events based on copious notes he kept of his communications, saying he shared those notes with the State Department, which is refusing to give them to congressional investigators.
He's filling in some gaps he's sharing with us in a pretty candid way and his experience.
The 50-year career diplomat detailing a conversation with U.S. Ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland, who he says told him everything was dependent on such an announcement, including security assistance, adding he said that President Trump wanted President Zelensky in a public box by making a public statement about ordering such investigations. Taylor telling Congress he disagreed with the tactic, but Sondland repeatedly tried to explain the president's intent. According to Taylor, Sondland told him, when a businessman is about to sign a check to someone who owes him something, the businessman asks that person to pay up before signing the check. The next day, the diplomat raised concern in a text message exchange with Sondland, writing, I think it's crazy to withhold security assistance for help with a political campaign. After speaking with President Trump, Sondland stressed that was not the case. Texting, I believe you're incorrect about President Trump's intentions. The president has been crystal clear, no quid pro quos of any kind. The White House quickly attempting to discredit Taylor and the impeachment inquiry, saying this is a coordinated smear campaign from far-left lawmakers and radical unelected bureaucrats waging war on the Constitution. There was no quid pro quo. Trump's Republican allies doing the same.
I've been in there for 10 hours. I can assure you there was no quid pro quo.
But House Democrats are adamant Taylor's testimony directly links the president to a quid pro quo.
You can't just commit a crime and say that you didn't and then expect it to go away.
It's and applauding him for testifying against the Trump administration's wishes.
He came forward, again, at risk of his career, at expense to himself. He had no incentive but to tell the truth, and I believe that's what he did today.
Also on Capitol Hill, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg testified yesterday. The hearing was initially set to discuss Facebook's attempts at creating its own cryptocurrency, but Zuckerberg ended up being grilled on political ads and many other grievances against the social media platform. Zuckerberg took questions from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, Democrats quickly zeroing in on the social media giant's new political advertising policy.
You announced that Facebook would not be doing fact-checking on political ads, giving anyone Facebook labels a politician a platform to lie, mislead, and misform the American people, which will also allow Facebook to sell more ads. Your claim to promote freedom of speech does not ring true.
Even though the hearing lasted more than 6 hours, the committee's top-ranking Republican member said he is not sure the committee members learned anything new.
California is once again at the mercy of unfavorable weather. The current conditions make parts of the Golden State vulnerable to wildfires. Evacuations are already underway, and some customers have already had their power shut off for precautionary reasons. Red flag warnings are in effect for more than 25 million people, and wind gusts could hit up to 65 miles per hour this week. Pacific Gas and Electric is cutting power to roughly 180,000 customers as a preventive measure. The outrages are not expected to be as widespread as they were earlier this month, when around 800,000 customers were left in the dark. After the break, find out who Lake Forest Park brought in to cut the grass.
Here we go. Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh, yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
An overgrowth of vegetation in a Denton park has caused the city to call in a few experts. The gang of goats and donkeys is enjoying an all-you-can-eat buffet, all while saving the forest.
Denton's Lake Forest Park has chosen a new fighter in the battle against the overgrowth of the Chinese privet in the park. The overgrowth has increasingly been getting worse over the past 4 to 5 years.
So this is an example of Chinese privet. This is introduced. It's a great landscape material, very popular, still popular today. You can find it at any of the home improvement stores. So it gives a lot of pop in the color in the landscaping. In the early spring, they'll produce these beautiful white flowerets, and they make a lovely addition to a landscape.
However, this aesthetically pleasing plant comes with some major downsides.
Some of the unfortunate things about this Chinese privet is that once it starts going in, it will start to crowd out all the other vegetation. First of all, it can grow upwards of about 10 feet. And so at the height of 10 feet, it's also shading out many of the other vegetation that could be growing in. It has a hormone that's produced by the leaves, and that hormone, when it falls to the ground, will suppress other plants from being able to grow. And long term from now, you could have just a field of Chinese privet instead of the forests that we enjoy today.
Traditionally, chainsaws, chemicals, and controlled fires would be the solution to this issue. In order to save the forest all while remaining eco-friendly, 12 goats have been hired.
I wouldn't say the goats are the cheaper alternative, but they are more, environmentally friendly and sustainable. This isn't anything new to goats eating vegetation, whether it's weeds, grass, or brush. That they're naturally, made to do that.
Grazing alongside the goats are donkeys, who have been hired as protection.
We have 2 donkeys, so just natural here, and especially in North Texas, they're natural predators that would be here and are here that are seen every now and then are coyotes and bobcats, and so those donkeys are just their natural protectors. They're here and they survey the land, they eat the same vegetation that the goats do, and they're here to protect them.
In addition to the 12 hired goats and 2 donkeys, there is one new member of the team.
His name is Forrest, after Lake Forest. He's a Barbados sheep, and so we have 12 sheep and goats here. So we have 10 goats. We have 1 Dorset ram, and then 1 Barbados ewe, which is a female, and then she had a baby last Friday.
This team of herbivores have exceeded expectations and gotten the job done in no time.
As hopefully you can see behind me that there's not a lot of undergrowth left, and like I said, they've been here 3 weeks. And they've cleared most of the undergrowth out, and it's looking really good. We're really happy with the progress.
Huffman and his team aren't the only ones checking in on the goats' progress. City of Denton residents also stopped by to check out the newest 4-legged employees. With NT Daily TV, I'm Mercedes Ezechi.
The goats will be in Lake Forest Park for 1 more week. These are located on the east side of the park near Wiggly Field Dog Park. Residents who choose to visit the goats are encouraged not to cross the barriers set up for safety reasons.
October is a special time of the year for sports fans. It's the only month of the year where all the four major sports, baseball, basketball, football, and hockey, are in season. Major League Baseball's World Series began Tuesday, and the underdog Washington Nationals went on the road to Houston and defeated the Astros in Games 1 and 2. The Nationals now control home field advantage and are looking for their first championship franchise history. Game 3 is Friday night. Tuesday was a busy sports night as the NBA also began its new season. 2 of the 3 Texas teams started the year off with the win. The Dallas Mavericks played their first games Wednesday, beating the Washington Wizards 108-100. Luka Doncic scored 34 points with 9 rebounds for the Mavs, while Kristaps Porzingis made his team debut with 23 points. The San Antonio Spurs began their year with a win as well, a 120-111 victory over the New York Knicks. LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan had 22 and 20 points respectively. Texas' third team, the Houston Rockets, tip off Thursday night. Local football teams continue to shine in Denton. The Denton Ryan Raiders are now 7-0 after a 62-6 win last weekend over Carrollton Creekview. The undefeated Ryan team is ranked 3rd in the state's 5A Division I standings. In Division 6A, Denton Guyer defeated Keller last week 42-10. They now have a 6-1 record and are ranked 17th in the state. This week, Ryan hosts the Turner Lions and Guyer plays a road game at the Eton.
After the break, see how a Denton couple is using food to turn back the clock.
He was a skater boy. She said, "See you later, boy," when she hit me with her car and killed me. As a licensed driver, it's your responsibility to share the road with people who may be on the sidewalk, on the bike lanes, on the road itself, whether they're walking, skating, biking, hydroplaning, hydroflasking, hyperboarding, whatever. It's important to give people 3 to 6 feet of clearance room on either side, so we're all a little bit safer. It's your responsibility to share the road.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
A Denton couple is following their retirement dreams. NT Daily's Abram Gallegos took a step back in time to visit the New Legends Diner.
Well, my name's Wayne Lacombe. My wife Kat and I are the owners of Legends Diner, 50s diner that we wanted to do something a little bit different that's in town, a little bit nostalgic, and we think we got it. We are both veterans. But my wife's a retired nurse from here in Denton, and I'm retired sales. Every time we'd walk by or ride by a diner, she'd say, "Honey, I want to do a diner when we retire." And I'm going, "Yeah, sure, okay." Well, a few years later, she'd say it again. I'm going, "Okay, yeah, sure." Well, when we retired, she said, "Honey, we're doing our diner." And I went, "Okay."
I'm just really excited for them. I know it's something she's always wanted, you know, and she retired from nursing and was able to do this, so it's just really exciting.
One thing is everything comes out of the kitchen is scratch recipe dishes. People come here, it's comfort food, comfort atmosphere, music in the background. They walk in the door, they just like, wow, this is neat, this is different. Denton needed something like this. It's comfort. They get up, they walk around, they look at all we have over 100 pictures on the walls of movie, film, comedians, cartoon characters. So everybody's just loving it.
They're working hard. They're working really hard. So I really hope for the best for them.
They're walking away with peace of mind, relaxation. As I said, they come in and they say, Denton's been needing something like this.
The diner is on Elm Street and opens at 6 a.m. Monday through Saturday.
A celebrity couple came to the aid of an elementary school in need. Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez are helping kids in need. The couple stepped up with a generous donation to provide a year's worth of food to Jacksboro Elementary School in Tennessee. They learned of the need after a teacher shared an emotional post on Facebook about a hungry child. The teacher wrote about how school staff put money together to help. A food pantry at the school was formed after the story went viral. Lopez and her fiancé decided to add to the outpouring of support, saying on Instagram that the story brought tears to their eyes. She and Rodriguez are part owners in the home-cooked meal supply company Tiller and Hatch, and partnered with them to provide the meals. Lopez, whose mother was a teacher, said giving back to the students was her favorite moment of the month.
This December, the Star Wars Skywalker saga comes to an end. Anticipation is at a record high, and the ticket sales show it.
It's the destiny of a Jedi.
After the debut of final trailer, Monday tickets officially went on sale for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. According to online service Atom Tickets, the film set a franchise record for first ticket sales, selling 2.5 times as many tickets as Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, did in its first 24 hours. The only film with more first-day ticket sales on Atom, Avengers Endgame, this past spring.
That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time for NT Daily News.